The global epidemic of zombification in the name of God, with greetings and the offering of prayers for goodwill. It was stated that the coronavirus epidemic and the unrestrained spread of viruses, which has been underway for quite some time, is expected to give rise to more intelligent variants in the not-so-distant future. These viruses will, in a way, reign in humankind so that the Earth, this exceptional sphere in the cosmos among hundreds of known planets and millions of other unknown ones, may be saved from human domination and ambition. The issue of viruses and their capacity for diverse and intelligent replication is a subject that will gradually be revealed to humanity. As the wisdom behind the existence of these entities in preserving the Earth becomes clear, we will gain deeper insight into the philosophy behind the design of such beings within the ecosystem. We will speak again about the development of these replication capabilities. However, since these epidemics are not the only danger ahead and humanity stands at a sensitive juncture and a turning point in the course of its existence, it is necessary for human beings to make fundamental decisions for themselves and their future. They must also possess a correct outlook regarding what they will be facing. Although this outlook is by no means pleasant, it is better to be aware of it. The fundamental solution here is not self-deception or fleeing from the truth, a truth whose realities have long been witnessed with one's own eyes all around the world. A reality that foretells another epidemic, a mental epidemic which is far more lethal for humankind than coronavirus, and can be regarded as humanity's first experience of a mental epidemic. This phenomenon, whose very preliminary and mild levels have long begun in human societies, threatens humanity in a catastrophic and humiliating manner, threatening not only lives, but horrifyingly targeting the very value of being human, even though at present the occurrence of such a phenomenon may seem highly unrealistic and improbable. Mentioning this issue is solely for the purpose of preparedness in confronting and preventing it, even though complete prevention is impossible. This forthcoming affliction can be named the global mental epidemic of meaninglessness, zombification. The term zombie refers to a fictional story in which the dead come back to life in this world and rise from their graves, whereas in reality the resurrection of the dead in this world is not possible, and this is merely a metaphor. The major epidemic that will severely threaten humanity in the future is the mental epidemic of losing oneself, zombification, in which afflicted individuals have no control or command over their actions and behaviors, and commit crimes and bizarre acts that have absolutely no rational or logical justification. In this phenomenon, even the individual themselves is unaware of the cause and manner of committing these crimes and involuntarily engages in abnormal actions, without knowing how or why. The commission of such criminal acts has several distinct characteristics that are completely different from all crimes committed in the past. Among the most important of these differences are being outside the afflicted individual's control, lack of will and loss of self during affliction, and differentiation. Among the most important of these differences are unconscious inclination toward committing crimes, failure to recognize oneself and others during affliction, even close relatives and family members. The sudden onset of affliction, the individual abruptly develops this mental illness, blind and purposeless action, with no selection regarding the subject, timing of the act, etc., lack of affiliation with any specific movement or group that might be assumed to have influenced the act, except coincidentally, lack of dependence on financial gain or material benefit as motivation for committing meaninglessness, zombification, lack of belonging to any specific social class or professional group, absence of any fear in committing acts of meaninglessness, zombification, even fear for one's own life, since all such individuals will be forcibly killed during the act to save others' lives. No prior planning by the afflicted individual for committing criminal acts, such as designing the crime, obtaining weapons, etc. No prior awareness by the afflicted individual of being afflicted with the mental illness of meaninglessness. In other words, no one knows in advance that they will become afflicted with this mental illness, zombification, therefore pair free errand, dismoification, 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 therefore pair free errand. An unprecedented fear and terror will dominate human societies. No awareness by the afflicted individual of what they are doing during zombification, absence of any prior plan or scheme, or lack of awareness of the details of what they have done after the act, if they were to survive and not be killed, since everyone will be forced to arm themselves to protect their own lives against such a phenomenon, no one being immune from becoming a victim of the afflicted individual, because at the moment of affliction, the person does not even recognize their own family and loved ones. Impossibility of saving the afflicted individual through conventional treatment methods such as psychiatry, psychoanalysis, etc. No connection between zombification and criminal background. The vast majority of afflicted individuals have no specific or criminal record, and if an afflicted individual does have a prior record, it is purely coincidental and unrelated. In other words, impossibility of identifying individuals predisposed to this mental illness in advance, because usually a person is recognized only after committing involuntary criminal acts, at which point nothing can stop them. And note refer to the cinematic film Prophet Solomon regarding individuals who experience such a state. However, lower-level forms of this mental epidemic, which are not comparable to its advanced form, have existed for a long time. At this initial level, we feel that people are no longer themselves, as if we are dealing with lifeless bodies. Their gaze changes and they lose their personality stability. These versions are much milder than the advanced ones and do not possess all the characteristics mentioned above. At this preliminary level, early versions, this mental phenomenon has for years been associated with blind crimes committed in various parts of the world, without specific objectives. Each day, one must expect an increase in the number of such incidents and witness astonishing and tragic events of this kind. Soon, even in its elementary form, this phenomenon will confront the world with a major crisis and sound the alarm for humanity. However, as stated, the main danger arises when higher levels, advanced versions of this mental illness manifest. Before discussion, the underlying causes of affliction with the mental illness of meaninglessness, zombification, I would first like to briefly address a very general approach to prevention, though the examination and explanation of this issue is far more extensive than this. Gnosis-centeredness, the only path to humanity's salvation. Human beings, by their very nature, find meaning and definition through gnosis, inner knowledge. They are not beings who, like other living creatures, live solely on the basis of instinct. Separation from gnosis and spirituality leads humanity to a fate fundamentally different from that of other beings. Therefore, while congratulating the arrival of the blessed month of Ramadan, a time for returning to spirituality and reducing the pollutions of body, mind, will, and psyche, and emphasizing that gnosis-centeredness is the only path to humanity's salvation, it must be said that although it may not completely prevent all problems facing humankind, it can certainly reduce them. Accordingly, it is once again recommended that we reconcile with existence and move in harmony with it, and not only regard the earth as our homeland, but recognize that the universe and all of existence are our homeland. Interuniversalism. Today the earth has rejected us and deemed us unworthy. But woe to the day when existence itself rejects us, and shame over the presence of humankind prevents all creation from accompanying us. Today we witness the human body being attacked. Tomorrow the human mind will be attacked, and events will occur that transform the human who was meant to be the noblest of creations into the lowest of creations. Although ultimately the divine plan will not fail, this increasing complexity of the path will make the journey more difficult, leave behind false claimants of perfection, and shatter all the sweet dreams of selfish and arrogant humans. So while there is still time, let us reflect on the philosophy of our creation and recognize that such a creation is infinitely intelligent, and that its path proceeds with precise engineering, design, and planning. It is necessary to rediscover our true identity, find our place in existence, and understand it. In doing so, through our unified being, we will reach unity within existence, and by aligning phase matching with the greater universal mind, we can prevent and gain greater immunity against the emerging problems that target the human mind. Through the alignment of the human mind with the universal mind of existence, humans become capable of understanding their position in creation. In that case, better days may await humanity. God willing, to be continued. With wishes for divine success, Mohammad Ali Taheri. We hope we have been able to capture your attention in this program. Dear viewers, if you have any questions, please send them to us in the comments and share your thoughts with us. For more information, you may visit the Taheri Academy website. With utmost gratitude, the Inter-Universal Mysticism, Erfan-e-Kayhani,